Uno Mixed is presented to you by Pepsi. That's what I like.
Hafide, and welcome to this month's edition of Uno Mixed. I'm Hannah Devonto.
Wahusi Isaiah, again, also known as Izzy. Thank you for watching as we have special guests joining us this month.
And on this exciting segment, Izzy, myself, and KUAM's intern Kate Balser got to try paddleboarding.
Take a look.
On this segment of Uno Mixed, Izzy, Kate, and I are going paddleboarding with Mocha's paddleboards. Kate and I are experienced paddleboarders, but Izzy, on the other hand, has never tried this before.
I'll go ahead and give a few pointers on basically the basic steps on using paddleboard. You put an ankle leash around yourself before using the board. So it doesn't matter which parts of the body you put it, like which leg, it's just whichever you're comfortable. You'll notice on these boards, there's a handle in the center. That's the center of the board. And what you want to do when you're getting on the board is you want to make sure you're either sitting or kneeling or standing on that side, because you'll have the best stability in the center of the board. Okay? And then this is the paddle that you're going to use. They're adjustable. The general rule is you want to just make sure that the paddle is taller than you, and so that you have better grip and you have a better length of paddling. I tend to like to adjust mine just a little bit taller so that I have a little bit more length when I'm paddling. We usually recommend everyone, when you're first starting out, start kneeling so you can get a feel of the board of how it is to be on there. So by kneeling, you can get a feel for it, you know, the buoyancy. You want to make sure as you stand, you're looking towards the horizon, you're not looking down. If you look down and you stand, you're going to have this feeling that you want to fall down, so it's best to stand as you're looking towards the horizon. And the great thing about this paddle is it acts as basically a support system as well. If I want to go straight, I just need to make sure my paddle is going right alongside the board. Like so. Then if you want to turn, you're just making wide turns like this. And then of course you can slow down and back up by just paddling backwards. And most people have the tendency to use the board to break their fall. Our recommendation is if you're in water that's at least knee or waist deep, just go for the water. The reason why is because the water is a lot of a softer landing area than the board. Yeah, that's pretty much the basics.
The two of us had no trouble getting up and left Izzy with our instructor to learn the art of paddleboarding. We were really enjoying our peaceful morning on the water and seeing all the cool fish and coral below. This is a great spot to paddleboard because the water is so smooth and shallow and really clean. Izzy, on the other hand, was having a different experience. Something I admire about him is that he never quits and always keeps trying.
There you go, man.
And he made it up and was paddleboarding. Great job, Izzy.
So how do you guys think, I mean, Izzy did try super hard. How do you think he did for a beginner?
Izzy did great. I mean, the first time he tried to get up, he was having a hard time. He wasn't able to stand the first time, but second time, third time, and then finally the last time he got up, he was already paddling and he was up, you know, standing up for a good 5-10 minutes. So I think it shows, we were just saying, you know, it's about your attitude and your persistence, and if you really want to do something, as long as you have the mindset for it, Izzy showed that. Yeah.
That's awesome. Any tips for beginners who might want to try this out?
Any tips, Kev?
Just come out and try it, because you don't know until you try. And paddleboarding, if it's like life, you know, you just have to try, have the mindset to come out and try, you'll succeed.
Thank you, Mocha's Paddleboards, for the super fun experience. If you're interested in paddleboarding, you can contact them by email at mochaspaddleboards@gmail.com or DM them on Instagram for all inquiries. Now, Izzy, I know you fell a lot, but you didn't give up. How would you rate your experience?
1 out of 10. I would totally do it again. I was raised never to quit, so I'm definitely going to give it a shot just so I can master the sport of paddleboarding.
All right, and we got some other great things coming up. So you and Noah tried pickleball.
Correct, so stay tuned.
Uno Mixed is presented to you by Pepsi. That's what I like. Uno Mixed is presented to you by Pepsi. That's what I like.
Welcome back to Uno Mix.
This segment we have KUAM intern Noah Maravilla joining me for a lesson of pickleball.
Let's roll the clips.
It was back to the Badminton Sports Center in Barrigada this month for me, but for a new lesson and for a new sport. Pickleball. It's a sport that involves paddles or rackets, kind of similar to badminton or tennis. KUAM's Noah Maravilla joined me in the lesson, but more of a refresher course for him. Coach and player Albert Manasala and Ray Wang, the owner of the Badminton Sports Center, detailed the sport.
Pickleball is like tennis cross ping pong cross volleyball, you know. It's a faster pace, I would say faster pace than tennis. It's very easy to pick up, but you know, if you have a racket, any racket, what do you call this, experience, any racket experience, then you can play pickleball.
So pickleball is played, it's the same size as badminton court. And then the story of pickleball started with I think the senator in Washington wanted to play badminton, but he couldn't find a birdie. And then he invented another sport based on badminton court. And then a lot of badminton players, they found pickleball is easy to pick up and very fun too. It's a similar court but different movement and different rules. So today we'll have Albert show you guys how actually to play this.
Noah and I began the lesson with a little scrimmage between another player and Coach Albert.
0-0. No, they don't. So only the serving team can get up. Oh, okay. Yeah.
It was time to wrap up the shoot with a progress report.
How did Noah and I do?
Pretty good. Actually, Noah, having that tennis background, he picked it up so fast. I mean, he was serving great. He was returning and resetting the ball. It's amazing.
Yeah, what would be some tips for me specifically on how I did on the sport? I know I was hitting a little bit rough, so what would be some
Well,
tips for
you
me?
just, like we said, right, when you're dinking, you gotta bend your knee and don't use your wrist. So every time you use your wrist, you lose control of the ball and you tend to hit it like longer.
Okay.
Right? So use your arm and bend your knee. That would be it. And then hit a lot of balls, like buy a ball and a paddle, hit it on the wall, control it. That's all there is to it, really.
What would you say there's some tips, because you know Noah did great, what would be tips for me as a beginner and for those who are interested in participating in the sport?
A lot of it really is just hitting the ball, you know, like trying to control it. If the cool thing with pickleball, if you have a wall in your house, you just put a tape like 3 feet from the wall and you can actually practice it in your house. It doesn't have to be a big wall, you know, but it would help like if you just hit it every day, you know, it will teach you, your muscle control will teach you how to control the ball a lot better. And then you would really do good on the kitchen.
Just to be clear, this was the first time I played the sport. After getting a better understanding of the sport and how he did, I asked the pickleball champion what he thought of pickleball.
All right, Noah, you played pickleball here. How is it?
It was super fun. I've played maybe once before, about 3 years ago, but since then I've never played, and it's been super fun playing here. They were all really nice.
They gave you a really good progress report. What were, I guess, some of the challenges and the ups and downs, or pros and cons of the game?
I think some of the challenges for me were especially hitting the ball at the right strength. and also keeping my wrist tight.
To book a lesson for badminton, pickleball, and basketball, or for more information about the center, follow them on Instagram and Facebook at Guam Badminton.
Now, Izzy, how would you rate your experience trying pickleball? I know that was your first time as well.
It was my first time for pickleball. Will I ever do it again? No. But I recommend anyone interested to stop by the Badminton Sports Center in Barrigada and follow them on social media for more information. We have Pepsi Pulse coming up next.
Uno Mixed is presented to you by Pepsi, That's What I Like. Uno Mixed is presented to you by Pepsi, That's What I Like.
Welcome back.
Before we wrap up the show, here is actually this month's Sunday Vibes.
It's now time to close out the show. Thank you guys for watching.
We hope you enjoyed this month's episode of Uno Mix.
I'm Hannah Devonto.
Wahusi Isaiah Uggan, also known as Izzy. Thank you so much for watching. Be safe, Marianas. Adios.
Uno Mixed is presented to you by Pepsi, That's What I Like.
Welcome back to Uno Mix. It's now that time of the show where we feature local talent taking the spotlight.
Here's this month's Pepsi Pulse.
It's time for your Pepsi Pulse.
He's making his mark in Los Angeles. Brian Santos was born and raised in Guam, then moved to LA in August of 2019. A little less than a year ago, he auditioned and made it onto the first ever season of OutTV's Go-Go for the Gold.
It is, yeah. So I'm part of the original cast of Go-Go for the Gold. It's the first season. It's really, really exciting. I love the platform that this show created for, a person that's really big, really big part of the nightlife community. You know, there's drag queens and there's bartenders and there's so many people that make a nightclub come together, but a lot of people forget about go-go dancers. So we're the entertainers, we're the people that really put on the show and kind of create the environment that you're dancing in and you're having fun in. So I love this platform and I love sharing my love of dance with the world.
It's the first of its kind, a show that has 12 go-go boys nationwide descend to Hollywood to compete for the title of America's #1 champion, Go-Go Superstar, Star, as well as go home with $10,000. Santos has been dance training since 17, but it was around this time last year he began his journey in go-go dancing. He shared that he learned how to go-go dance 3 months prior to joining the show. Here's why.
It's honestly by accident. So I am a trained classic dancer, trained classical dancer. I studied all forms of dance, mostly jazz and hip hop. I was with Stargazer Dance Crew back on Guam, and it was so great. I learned to love dance so much coming up through Guam. I always had a passion for it. So when I came back to Guam after my grandpa passed away last year, I went to Guam to visit during the middle of COVID because my grandpa passed away. And then I came back to LA and I kind of didn't know what to do. I was trying to figure out my next steps. I was licensed in real estate, trying to take that on full time. I had a degree in business, trying to see what I wanted to do in that route. But my heart was always in dance and it was always my passion. And I always wanted to find a way to dance and work professionally and use my passion for my profession. So when I found this go-go dancing gig, I just sent it to the Abbey. I said, hey, I want to dance. I'm a professional dancer. This is my work. This is how I look. And they called me for an audition the next day, and I've been dancing full-time with them since then. Yeah, so the show is basically a go-go dancing show. It's kind of like, think of it, if you watch RuPaul's Drag Race, it's basically RuPaul's Drag Race for go-go dancers. So we do competitions, challenges each week based on go-go dancing. We've done challenges like dancing on a small tiny box, which is something we do as go-go dancers. And that was all new to me because I had just started go-go dancing with the biggest club in West Hollywood in Los Angeles, the biggest gay club, 3 months prior. So it was all super, super new, and it was something that I was really exploring and learning as I was shooting the show too, but it was amazing. Exactly, yes. I've been go-go dancing for about a year, started in, just the middle of June 2021, and I've been doing it full-time since then, and I love it. It's opened up so many doors for me, so many opportunities. I got to be on the West Hollywood Pride float with the Abbey. I sat on top of it like the queen that I am, and just rode my way down Santa Monica Boulevard, and it was the best experience ever.
There were some bumps in the road while being on the show.
Definitely. I would say it takes a lot of confidence to get up in your underwear in front of strangers. So that's definitely the biggest struggle that I encountered in the beginning. I was always very body conscious and kind of not really knowing how my body worked or how it looked in certain ways. But I've also had a passion for fashion. I always say my first love was dance, my second love was fashion. So that was kind of what helped me get more comfortable with the underwear, was making it my own. So, for example, the place I dance, the Abbey, they have their own underwear that they would bring in. So we would basically like dance around it. So I would have like little underwear with a cute little top, anything like that, to kind of just make it my own and make it more individual. So that was definitely the first struggle that I had to work through, was kind of working through the costume and working through being naked in front of people. But as I started to dance more, I got more comfortable with it, and I've always had this like feminine movement about me that I always liked. So when I really tapped into that, that's what helped me get through the struggle as well. And then with the show, filming that, I think what was the biggest struggle was being so green. I kind of say now that I wish I shot it at this point in my life, at this point in my career, because I think I'm definitely at this like peak point in my life. Like I'm having the most fun, I'm getting the most opportunities, I'm making the most money go-go dancing I've ever done in my life. So I think if I shot the show now, it would definitely be even more amazing. But that was definitely my struggle, was being so green to the industry and kind of still finding my footing while being on such a big platform.
The 25-year-old Chamorro had some advice for those interested in go-go dancing.
The biggest thing I would say about working through your dreams is that it's so cliche, but it's never give up. And I think it's always kind of taking on your dreams. What I do is I kind of have like calculated risks. I'm not really a big risk taker. So if you're kind of struggling through reaching your dreams, kind of always have a backup plan, you know? So for example, like me, I love dancing, I love performing all my life, and I knew I was gonna do it, but I wanted to have a backup plan. So I got a degree in business, but I got a degree in entertainment business. So I always wanted to surround myself with that. So that would be another piece of advice, is kind of always surround yourself with your dream and what you want to do and what you want to pursue at all times. And it will come to you. As long as you work for it and you keep going, it'll come to you and you'll get everything you wanted, because I'm living my dream life and I'm so happy for that. And I wish that for every single person.
With his roots from Guam, a U.S. territory, he says the community's reaction was filled with positivity.
Definitely. It's always the biggest thing that I get from people, even just walking down the street. They're like, and making small talk, hey, where are you from? Oh, I'm from Guam. And it's always definitely an eye and ear opener. People are like, oh, that's so cool. I've never met anybody from Guam. So that was definitely the reaction I got from the people on the show. When they found out, they were like, oh, that's so cool. You came all this way. Now you're on the show. And, I'm sure everyone back home is really, really happy with how you're representing your island. And that's exactly how everyone reacted. I couldn't tell a lot of people that I was shooting the show. I only told my mom and my immediate family, and they were super, super excited for me. So I did it, and they had to, keep everything that I told them under wraps until it was released that I was part of the cast. So we basically shot the show, and my mom was so thrilled. She was like super excited to post everything. And then when I finally posted that I was on it, I had people reaching out left and right, from old classmates. I went to JFK, old classmates at JFK, or teachers I had, or professors at UOG. Really anybody I knew that would see me, they were like, oh my God, that's so crazy. I know you love dance, and I know you love performing, and this is great, and I'm so happy you're representing the island like that. So it's been an overwhelmingly great response. So I started doing drag about 2 months ago now. My name is Margot Addiction. I had the name Margot. It's actually a really cute story. When I first came out as gay to my family and my siblings, my older brother was like, "That's so cool. Like, are you gonna do drag? Like, you should name yourself Margot." So I've held on to that name ever since I was like 17, or younger even. And so I've always been looking for a last name. And so one thing in the drag community is called a drag mother. You have someone that kind of helps you and guides you along the way. So at the Abbey, where I dance, where I go dance, I found a drag queen who's a resident there. Her name is Barbie's Addiction, and we kind of have a similar journey. She is a trained dancer. She used to be a go-go dancer at the Abbey, and she felt the excitement of performing and everything that you can get from go-go dancing, and she also started doing drag. So that's kind of where my journey has been. I started doing drag because I was in the heels and a full face of makeup and, you know, women's clothing. And I was like, you know what? All I'm missing is a piece of hair, and I'm a drag queen. So let's make it happen. So I got some hair, and I got to do my first time ever doing drag at the Abbey, the largest gay club in the world. And it was amazing. So from then I just haven't been stopping. I've been doing drag gigs left and right while booking go-go gigs full time. So it's been a really great hustle, and I've been working super, super hard. And I'm super excited for what's next. So like I said, I'm hoping that RuPaul's Drag Race is the next TV show that I'm on. And I hope to just do more drag and do more go-go and really just perform for the rest of my life.
It's no secret that he made his family, friends, and the people of Guam proud as he was crowned Miss Congeniality on the show, as well as placing top 4. He can be found on social media at the Bryant Santos. I enjoyed that conversation with Brian Santos, and congratulations to him for representing Guam in LA, and especially on that big platform of a show.
Up next, we have Sunday Vibes.
Uno Mixed is presented to you by Pepsi. That's what I like.